Darren Targaryen. He's a claimant.
You may not rule and remain yourself. There is in you a door that must shut. You will do things that your heart would have recoiled from. I dispute that I must become what I am not. Time will tell.
Rhaenyra just got everything she ever wanted, and it's already breaking her. The Iron Throne is hers, her enemies are dead or scattered, but the Season 3 Episode 3 trailer just revealed something terrifying. She might not survive becoming the queen she dreamed of being. Daemon is already telling her who she has to kill next, and it's someone who shares her own blood. Alicent is warning her that the woman she used to be is about to disappear forever. So what exactly is coming for Rhaenyra in this new episode? Let's break down every single second of this trailer. The House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer for Episode 3 opens on a quiet, almost eerie note, and that quietness is exactly what makes it so unsettling. A low, dragging string sound plays underneath the very first shot, slow and heavy, like something building toward a breaking point. This isn't background noise, this is a warning. The camera holds on Rhaenyra's face in a tight close-up, and we can already tell something is different about her. She has the crown now. She has the throne her father always wanted her to have. But instead of relief, her expression carries the weight of 1,000 decisions she hasn't made yet. This is a woman who just won the biggest fight of her life, and somehow she looks more trapped than ever. We then cut to a wider shot, and this is where the trailer starts revealing just how unstable her position really is. Everyone is watching her. Lord Corlys Velaryon stands among the crowd, the gold cloaks are positioned around the throne room, and the people of King's Landing are clearly waiting to see what kind of ruler she's going to be. This moment matters more than people realize, because in this world, a crown means nothing if the people don't believe in the person wearing it. We've seen this exact tension before, both in this show and in Game of Thrones. A throne can be taken by force, but loyalty has to be earned. And right now, Rhaenyra has neither the time nor the stability to earn it slowly. Rhaenyra then says something that immediately tells us where her head is at. She admits that all eyes are now on her, and that she has to live up to the faith her father placed in her. This single line carries so much pressure. She's not just trying to rule Westeros, she's trying to prove that her father was right to break centuries of tradition by naming her, his daughter, as his heir. As she says this, the camera shows her hand resting on the Iron Throne, and her grip slowly tightens. It's a small detail, but it says everything. She's not just sitting on the throne, she's holding on to it for dear life, almost like she's afraid it could be ripped away from her at any second. And given everything that's happened so far in this war, that fear isn't unreasonable. She goes on to say she intends to rule the way her father would have wanted, but here's the problem, and it's a massive one. Viserys was a peaceful king, sure, but he was also a weak one. His refusal to properly secure his succession is the entire reason the realm is now tearing itself apart in this war. If Rhaenyra tries to rule with the same soft, hands-off approach her father used, she could be making the exact mistake that started this entire conflict in the first place. And deep down, I don't think she's going to be able to avoid the alternative. The pressure she's under is going to push her toward decisions driven by fear, suspicion, and anger, the very things she spent years trying to avoid becoming. The trailer then shifts into a sequence showing just how chaotic things have become inside the Red Keep. Members of the court are seen rushing around, bringing her problem after problem. One voice mentions a lack of control. Another brings up an issue involving sleeping arrangements within the castle. It's overwhelming, and that seems to be exactly the point. The Red Keep has fallen apart. Aegon fled, Aemond abandoned the throne to chase his own ambitions, and Alicent wants nothing to do with ruling anymore. Rhaenyra has inherited not just a crown, but an absolute mess, and she's expected to fix it immediately, with no guidance and very little support. Then comes a line that should send a chill down every viewer's spine. A council member warns her that her resources are limited, while her dangers are many. As this is said, the camera cuts to a small mouse scurrying through the halls of the Red Keep, almost as if to visually remind us just how small and vulnerable she really is inside these walls, despite the crown on her head. This single image might be one of the most important visual metaphors in the entire trailer, because right after this warning, we're shown exactly who one of those dangers is, and it's someone Rhaenyra never expected to have to face so soon. The trailer cuts straight to a battlefield, and standing there is Otto Hightower's grandson, surrounded by an army loyal to the Greens, while Daemon Targaryen stands across from him, seemingly alone, his dragon Caraxes looming behind him. Despite being outnumbered, Daemon radiates confidence, the kind of confidence that comes from a man who knows exactly how much destruction he's capable of causing. And then Daemon turns to Rhaenyra with a single demand, one that's about to test everything she claims to believe in. He tells her that this claimant to the throne has to die. But what Rhaenyra doesn't know yet, and what's about to push her further than she's ever been pushed before, is exactly who this person really is, and why killing him might break her in ways no battle ever could. The person Daemon is demanding Rhaenyra kill is Daemon Targaryen, the third son of King Viserys and Queen Alicent. For those who remember the earlier seasons, Daemon was sent away from King's Landing as a child, kept far from the chaos of the capital so that he could grow up safely and, if needed, one day stake his own claim to the Iron Throne on behalf of the Hightower family. That day has now arrived, and it's arriving at the worst possible moment for Rhaenyra. He represents a legitimate threat to her rule, a male heir with Hightower backing, and that is exactly why Daemon is pushing so hard for his death. In Daemon's mind, this isn't cruelty, this is survival, but there's a theory spreading among fans that the Daemon shown in this trailer might not be the real one at all, that this could be a decoy sent out to draw attention while the actual Daemon remains hidden, ready to appear later when the Blacks least expect it and are convinced the threat has already been eliminated. If that theory is true, Rhaenyra could be about to make a fatal mistake, believing she's secured her throne, when in reality, the real danger hasn't even entered the picture yet. What makes this moment even harder for Rhaenyra is the look on her face the instant she's told what she has to do. This isn't the expression of a ruthless queen ready to give the order without hesitation. This is shock, and it makes complete sense. She has only just taken her first life by ordering the death of Sir Eric Cargyle. By ordering events that led to Sir Otto's family suffering losses, and now she's being asked to spill the blood of someone who shares her own father's blood, her own half-brother in every way that matters. This is no longer about defeating enemies on a battlefield. This is about deciding whether family ties mean anything once a crown is involved. And that question is about to follow her into the next part of the trailer, where things get even darker. We then move to a celebration, a feast meant to mark Rhaenyra's rise to the throne, but the mood couldn't feel further from celebratory once Alicent speaks. She tells Rhaenyra that she cannot rule and still remain herself, that there is a door inside her that must be shut forever. Think about how heavy that statement really is. Alicent isn't warning her about outside enemies anymore. She's warning her about herself, about the version of Rhaenyra that still has empathy, hesitation, a moral conscience. Alicent is telling her, almost like a prophecy, that ruling Westeros during a war like this requires becoming someone colder, someone capable of doing things the old Rhaenyra never could have imagined doing. And the way this is delivered makes it feel less like advice and more like a warning passed down from someone who has already lived through this exact transformation herself. Alicent continues, telling Rhaenyra that she will end up doing things her heart would have once recoiled from. As she says this, the trailer shows quick, intense flashes of Rhaenyra tearing down everything connected to the Greens, symbols, banners, anything representing the side that opposed her. Standing beside her in these shots are Hugh Hammer, Ulf the White, and Adam of Hull, all taking part in this destruction. We even catch a glimpse of figures kneeling before her, which strongly suggests we're about to witness a scene where people who once stood against her are now forced to submit, whether they actually believe in her or not. It's loyalty built on fear rather than respect, and that's never a stable foundation in this world. Rhaenyra tries to push back against this version of herself that Alicent is describing. She says she refuses to accept that she has to become something she's not. It's a defiant, almost desperate line. The words of someone trying to hold on to whatever humanity she has left before the war strips it away completely. She wants to lead with her mind and her heart, the same way she believes her father once did. But here's the brutal truth the trailer keeps hinting at again and again. Viserys ruled during a time of relative peace, while Rhaenyra is ruling in the middle of an active civil war, with enemies positioning armies against her on multiple fronts. The circumstances are nothing alike, and pretending they are could be the very thing that destroys her. The final moments of this trailer segment show Rhaenyra standing completely still, watching flames consume everything that once belonged to the Greens. The camera lingers on her face in another tight close-up, and this time, there's no shock left in her expression, only something colder, something that looks dangerously close to acceptance. The very last line we hear is Alicent telling her simply that time will tell. 5 words, but they hang in the air like a threat. Time will tell what, exactly? Whether Rhaenyra becomes the ruler her father hoped for, or whether she becomes something far more dangerous, something even she might not recognize when she looks in the mirror. And if that transformation has already begun, what does that mean for everyone standing in her way? So where does all of this leave Rhaenyra heading into episode 3? And more importantly, what does it mean for everyone circling her like vultures waiting for her first real mistake? Based on everything shown in this trailer, I believe Rhaenyra is about to change in ways the audience has never seen from her before, and not in a slow, gradual way either. The pressure she's under is going to force rapid, almost violent shifts in how she thinks and how she rules. She wants to lead like her father, calm, fair, patient, but Westeros simply will not allow that right now. The realm isn't stable enough for patience. Every single person around her is waiting to see if she's strong enough to hold on to what she's taken. And the moment she shows weakness, that's the moment her enemies will strike. And those enemies are not far away. Ormond Hightower commands the largest army in all of Westeros, and his entire purpose right now is making sure the Hightower name stays connected to the Iron Throne no matter the cost. A man leading that many soldiers does not stop simply because the other side hopes he will. He's going to keep moving forward, and Rhaenyra knows this, which is exactly why the warning about her resources being small and her dangers being many hits so hard. She doesn't have the luxury of sitting back and ruling gently while Ormond builds momentum on the battlefield. Every day she hesitates is another day his forces grow stronger and more confident. Then there's Aemond, and he might be the most unpredictable threat of all. After everything he's been through, including losing an eye as a child and living in the shadow of his older brother for years, Aemond genuinely believes he would make a better king than Aegon ever could. He's not fighting for the Greens out of loyalty anymore. He's fighting because he feels entitled to power he's been denied his entire life. That kind of motivation makes him dangerous in a completely different way than Ormond. Ormond fights for family and legacy, but Aemond fights for himself. And people who fight purely out of personal ambition tend to make choices that are far harder to predict. Choices that could blindside Rhaenyra when she least expects it. And then there's the situation between Alys Rivers and Daemon, which might end up being one of the most important developments of the entire season, even if it doesn't seem that dramatic on the surface right now. Based on how their last conversation played out, it looked like Alys might have been ready to hand Aemond over to Daemon in exchange for finally being granted Harrenhal, the one thing she's always wanted but never had the title or status to claim. But I don't think that's actually where this is heading. With things between her and Daemon clearly breaking down, I believe Alys is going to switch sides entirely, choosing to align herself with Aemond instead, healing him from whatever injuries he's suffered, in hopes that he'll be the one to finally give her what she's wanted all along. Aemond surviving and Alys nursing him back to health could completely shift the balance of power in this war, especially if it means Daemon loses an ally he was counting on. So here's what we're really looking at heading into episode 3. Rhaenyra sits on a throne that everyone wants to take from her. Daemon is pushing her toward decisions that could permanently change who she is as a person. Alicent has basically warned her that the woman she used to be is already gone, whether she accepts it or not. Ormond's army keeps growing closer with every passing day. Aemond is out there nursing his own ambitions and possibly an actual injury, depending on how things play out. And somewhere out there, a real or fake Daeron Targaryen could be waiting to throw everything into chaos the moment Rhaenyra feels even slightly secure. The real question this trailer leaves us with isn't whether Rhaenyra can defeat her enemies, because at this point, that almost feels secondary. The real question is whether she can survive becoming queen without losing herself completely in the process. Alicent already told her there's a door inside her that has to shut, so when that door finally closes for good, who exactly is going to walk out on the other side? Is it still going to be Rhaenyra Targaryen, the woman who fought for what was rightfully hers? Or is it going to be someone the audience, and maybe even Rhaenyra herself, won't even recognize anymore?